Nice seeing you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, great. I mean, what an amazing presentation. All about some of the hot topics.
You tell everybody the same thing.
No, I do not. I really enjoyed it. I mean, AI is a hot topic right now, is it not?
It is.
But you also gave it straight, right? You talked about, we are going to lose some jobs, but we're also going to create a lot of jobs as well.
Exactly.
So talk to us, and congratulations on your new book, because that's what this is all based on too, right?
Yes, yes.
And just for the audience, what's your book called?
The book is called The Magic Conveyor Belt, kind of an image of the supply chain.
Yep.
And the subtitle is Supply Chain, AI, and the Future of Work.
Amazing.
Available on Amazon for your reading pleasure.
Well, and that's what we all want to know about. We want to know what that future of work is going to look like around AI, especially in supply chain and procurement. People are talking about that a lot. What are some of those questions that you're getting?
Well, if we are successful, then we'll have an amazing integration of humans and machines. Mm-hmm. It will be, the optimists are talking about much more fulfilling jobs, because the simpler, dirty job will not have to be handled by people.
Yep.
Only the higher level job, the more challenging job, will be handled by people. But it's a reasonable, desire. Mm-hmm. But for this, we have to train people. We have to make sure that we don't leave people behind. Mm-hmm. We have to make, both government and companies have to invest in training people. In fact, let me add one point. I just wrote a blog about US is full of strikes.
Yeah.
The auto workers, the writers, everybody's
so
striking.
many right now.
So many right now. And they are all negotiating on the wrong thing. The unions are making a fundamental mistake. The mistake is they are still negotiating on, pensions and pay and all of this. Good, they need to negotiate this. But the number one thing they need to negotiate is for the companies to train them for the future. And they are not doing this. They are saying, either they said, don't use AI like the writer did.
Right.
But what they should be doing right now, when they have the leverage, there are still workers needed, they should make the company will, commit to upgrading skills and allow people to participate in the new technological infused procurement, supply chain, any profession.
Yeah.
And I got a lot of responses to this. It's people relate to this.
Yeah, and that's what the future of work is all about. We do need that support and training. We do need that support in upskilling. And that is really the only road forward, right? You talked about creativity. You talked about strategy. That is where we thrive as human beings, right?
Absolutely.
But we also need to have the tools and the skills in our tool belt to be able to do that.
Because we have to be able to use the new tool, who are developing very quickly, to be able to use them well. Now, I'm a professor in the university. Every university has the same debate. Should we allow ChatGPT or Bard or all these guys or not?
I mean, is that even a question anymore, though? Can we allow it? Should we allow it? Isn't it the future?
It's not a question. To me, the question is, how do we teach our students to use it well?
Okay.
How we teach our students to read it and see what's hallucinating and what's real.
Right.
What's a mistake. We should teach students to be able to read critically. And evaluate critically. Critical thinking is the most important trait in the future. Yeah. And that's what we need.
Because it should be just used as a tool, right? You can ask it whatever you want and put the prompts in, but then you've got to be able to dissect the information that comes out and realize, with ChatGPT, right, it's 2021, realize there's a gap there of 2 years as well.
Of course. And even though the machines, the ChatGPT-4 and others are getting updated all the time, by the way, which is dangerous that I mentioned. If you use it with your company data, ChatGPT consumes it and start training on your company data, and then it's available to everybody. So
that is very, very true. Because I was talking to somebody the other day about the data. And every time you log into, trace a container or something like that, you're giving away your data. And
Absolutely.
So how do we keep that data? And so especially with AI and ChatGPT, you're doing the exact same thing.
So you have to, there are now special providers who will be able to, wall around your data. So you can use the standard ChatGPT without your data becoming part of the world data.
Yeah, it's like oil. You need to keep your gold and your oil close, right?
Yes, absolutely.
All right, so talk to us about the inspiration that informed your research. Why did you decide to put out a book? I mean, obviously it's a hot topic right now.
No, it's actually funny because I started it, I wrote several books during the pandemic about the logistics of vaccination and so forth. And after that, I thought everybody after the pandemic understood what supply chain are about, but then...
I thought so too, did they not?
No.
Oh.
Not hundreds, but many dozens of friends of my wife came, your husband is supply chain, can he explain to us what this is about?
Still.
Well, after a while, the number got so large that I said one-on-one is not going to work. So I wrote a book about explaining what supply chain are about. Started with this. And then explained the use of technology in supply chain. Because technology changed supply chain completely.
Right.
It used to be driving trucks and moving boxes. Only men did it. Now, it's technology. It's computers. Lots of women in the supply chain. That's great.
Yep.
But then, just as I was writing it, I started getting inkling of ChatGPT and OpenAI, so I kind of included it in the book and developed a lot of thinking and research around it.
Yeah, so everybody can really get a better understanding of where we're going. So talk to us about that. What are some of the impacts that you're seeing it have on the industry? I mean, one I can say is if you're not doing what you need to do in technology, you're going to be left behind.
Okay, that's yes with a grain of salt.
Okay.
Always.
Fair.
If you are not solving real problems, you will be left behind.
Okay.
Solving real problem may be replace the idiot who's doing it now with a guy who's smarter, or using ChatGPT. Start with the problem.
Yeah.
What is the problem that you're trying to solve? Actually, David mentioned this. I always mention it in my presentation. Always start with the problem that you're trying to solve. Companies that do it identify very specific problems, and they can very specific solution they can find return on investment on.
Yeah, they can figure that out.
Because the problem is when people start just I'm old enough, so I used to consult to boards and people, I remember asking the CEO, what's your China strategy? What's your blockchain strategy?
Right.
I would say that's a stupid question. I mean, it's like, what's your mathematics strategy? What's what's the problem you're solving? You're trying to reduce your labor costs. You're trying to get faster to market. What is the problem? Let's identify a problem, and the companies that do it, example, Intel works on procurement, and they actually do a very good job in trying to scan everybody who's related to their business who is a supplier of something. And they can get some information about them very easily from the media, from published report, but they can do it for tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of suppliers, not one at a time.
Yeah.
So they get better results this way.
All right. Well, really quickly, top prediction for 2024. One thing.
Top prediction?
Yeah.
I hope my prediction is wrong. Donald Trump is going to be the president of the United States.
No! All right, you heard it here, folks.
I said, I hope my prediction is wrong, right?
Yes, you did. You prefaced that. Well, Yossi, thank you so much for joining me on the virtual stage.